Malia and Sasha Obama have grown up before America's eyes. Just 10 and 7 years old when their father Barack Obama was elected to the United States presidency in 2008, the two have since matured into lovely young women with ambitions and interests all their own, which fall well outside of standing behind their dad during his annual turkey pardons.
As you get older, you appreciate when your kids just indulge you like this. So I'm very grateful.
Now that the duo has officially moved out of the White House, here's a look at the untold truth of their journey to and through their 8 years as first daughters. On the job early. Malia and Sasha were born just before their father's political ambitions began to really take stride. When the former president was beginning his journey to the Senate seat for the state of Illinois, Sasha was still an infant and Michelle had to bring her to a job interview. Former First Lady Michelle Obama told Parade magazine, "I didn't have a babysitter, so I took Sasha right in there with me, in her crib and her rocker. I told my boss, this is what I have, 2 small kids. My husband is running for the U.S. Senate. I will not work part-time. I need flexibility. I need a good salary. I need to be able to afford babysitting. And if you can do all that, I can work hard on a flexible schedule." I was very clear, and he said yes to everything. Political motivation. After his original inauguration, Barack Obama penned an open letter to his daughters highlighting his hopes for their future. In addition to thanking them for their participation and patience during his campaign, Obama wrote his aspirations for his daughters that reflected much of his public policy decisions while in office. He wrote, "I realized that my own life wouldn't count for much unless I was able to ensure that you had every opportunity for happiness and fulfillment in yours. In the end, girls, that's why I ran for president, because of what I want for you and for every child in this nation." In other words, it was Malia and Sasha who ultimately inspired the former president's decision to run in the first place. Bo, the first dog, was their prize for patience. Their allowances might have been pretty paltry, but the Obama sisters did get a very nice thank you gift from their parents once Barack Obama won his bid for the White House: their Portuguese water dog, Bo. The animal was a gift from former Senator Ted Kennedy and fit the family's criteria for a desired breed. Namely, he's a hypoallergenic dog, which was important because of Malia's allergies. While Bo might seem like a nod to Barack Obama's initials, he was actually named by the Obama sisters as a tribute to Bo Diddley, since Michelle's father was nicknamed Diddley. Malia had some high-security driving lessons. The Obamas might have tried to give their daughters normal teen lives where and when they could, but there were some things that just would never be ordinary about their upbringing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. One such aspect was the experience of learning to drive. Instead of taking the wheel with one of her parents to learn the ropes, Malia was actually trained to drive by her Secret Service officials. Michelle revealed, "The Secret Service taught her actually because they wouldn't let me in the car with her. But in order for her to learn how to drive, she had to drive on her own. So once she was legally permitted to drive on her own, she gets in her car. Driving for Malia, I think, gives her a sense of normalcy, like the rest of her friends are doing. And my kids have got to learn how to live in the world like normal kids." Raised to play 2 sports. Barack Obama might have been a notorious fan of basketball and football, but his daughter's recreational activity of choice, well, sort of choice, is tennis. Michelle told crowds at the 2013 U.S. Open that she nudged her kids onto the court because of her own lack of access to the sport when she was growing up. "I forced them into playing tennis because I didn't want them to be like me, but it's a great way to stay active." She told the New York Times that one of her rules for the girls was to play 2 sports, one they enjoyed and one they didn't pick, saying, "I want them to understand what it feels like to do something you don't like and to improve." Malia in particular became very good at the sport and was even considered to be on track for a potential college career in tennis. Malia's second language has come in handy. While the Obama family made their historic trip to Cuba in 2016, it was Malia who did all the talking. The then-president told ABC News that his eldest daughter had become so strong with her Spanish-speaking skills that she actually served as his personal interpreter during the trip.
You know, her Spanish is much better than mine, and I'm hoping that she has a chance to get entirely fluent.
To practice, Malia joined some of her classmates on a trip to Oaxaca, Mexico in 2012, then enjoyed a summer 2016 embassy internship in Spain, before embarking on a secret 3-month trip to South America later in the year. Malia's small smoke scandal. Although Malia and Sasha Obama walked away from the White House with their dignities intact, there were still a few scandals to surround Malia during her stay as the first daughter. In the late summer of 2016, rumors swirled that Malia was part of a wild party on Martha's Vineyard that had to be broken up by the police while the family was on vacation in the area. And just before the incident, she was reportedly caught smoking marijuana on camera during the Lollapalooza Music Festival in Chicago. Whoops! Unspoiled, not rotten. Despite their status as part of America's first family, the Obamas made efforts to keep their daughters grounded in reality while growing up in the nation's capital. One such tactic, the couple revealed, was to keep materialism to a minimum. The couple revealed they didn't give the girls gifts on their birthdays, justifying that the expenses of the party alone was enough reward for the occasion, and that they didn't want them to become spoiled. Michelle explained to People magazine back in 2008, they get so much stuff that it just becomes numbing. Malia believes there is still a Santa Claus even though she's a little wary because some of her friends are non-believers. But Malia says, "Ma, I know there is a Santa because there's no way you'd buy me all that stuff." Their allowance for chores while back in Chicago, too, was pretty slim. They made just $1 a week for helping out around the house, with obligations like setting the table and picking up their toys. They also had technology and television restrictions to only the weekends while in the White House, and were forbidden from having dessert or post-dinner snacks if they skipped their vegetables at supper. They had chores in the White House, too. If Malia and Sasha thought moving to the White House meant getting waited on hand and foot, boy were they in for a rude awakening. Michelle and Barack made sure the girls kept a strict schedule that included an 8 o'clock sharp bedtime and an ordinary routine of daily chores. Malia and Sasha were expected to make their own beds, clean up their dogs' bathroom piles, and get themselves ready in the mornings for school. As Michelle explained, that was the first thing I said to some of the staff when I did my visit, telling staff, "Don't make their beds, make mine, skip the kids. They have to learn these things." Now that they're residing in their own house outside of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, we have to imagine the tradition of cleaning up after themselves has only continued. Thanks for watching. Click the Nicki Swift icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.